Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and it's La Liga week 14. There's some unbelievable games here, but then you look at the card in depth and it looks as if it could be a little bit tricky. The two boys that I've got with me is Román from La Liga Lowdown, and we've got Martin Green as usual. Now, they both think it's tricky, which is obviously no problem at all. But I think that we could look back on Monday and go, my God, that 6 or 7 of these were so obvious. So please, you're our third guest. Throw a little bit of light on the subject. If you've got a banker, put it in. If you've got a disagreement towards whatever we say, then also put it in. If you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we will notify you and you cannot and will not miss any content again. And with the festive period upon us, we're going to be moving around. Like Monday, we've got an extra show for La Liga. We've got a Serie A show on Monday. We've got Premier League on Wednesday, going through the Boxing Day fixtures. I may even wear a little Christmas hat just for you in the chat. Also, press the thumbs up. Make it go blue. That shows your appreciation for both Román and Martin. And if you press the link in the description, that'll take you over to the articles wrote by either Martin or Tan or Alex, and they have parlays over there. And they break down individual games and put that little bit more meat on the bone. Román, welcome, sir. How was your week?
Thank you very much. It's been a good week because, as you may know, Barca won against Real Sociedad, so that was definitely a positive result for us. Maybe a bit unexpected, taking into account how the team's been. So quite happy with that and hoping they continue this form in the next few games.
Martin, Real Madrid versus Atletico. Real Madrid taught them a lesson, and I love the way that Real Madrid are just producing when they need to produce.
Yeah, they really are. He's fond of saying that the next game's a final, isn't he, Zinedine Zidane? And they have played like they've been in finals in recent weeks, beaten Atletico, beaten Borussia Mönchengladbach, beaten Sevilla. Really impressive momentum right now. And he's doing it without Hazard. He's doing it with the players that he's trusted for several years now. And, Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo are looking dangerous down the flanks. Benzema can't stop scoring. The defence looks a lot stronger since Sergio Ramos came back. It's looking really good for them. I still think it's a two-horse race between them and Atletico for me for the title, and it just remains to be seen whether that will really dent Atletico's momentum. If they start struggling now, Real Madrid could cruise to the title, but hopefully we'll still be in for a good title battle in the weeks and months ahead.
I think Atletico need to sign a decent striker, to be honest, to finish off all their good work. There was a couple of things I quite enjoyed. I was watching, but also listening to the commentary. And the commentator said that Benzema is not a natural number 9. He's the most natural number 9 I have seen in many a year. All his goals are on the end of crosses. He gets the ball out of his feet and he strikes it early. So I don't even know how these people get a job. And I'm loving the combination between Modric and Kroos. These teams are giving Kroos 3, 4, 5 yards to do exactly what he wants. He fetches, he carries, he probes. And you've got Asenio one side, you've got Vinny Jr. the other side, and also you've got Isco coming on as well. I love Real Madrid. I think they're going to go strength to strength. Román, let's get this card underway because I know that you both think it's tricky, but I'm going to go balls deep here. And it's Athletic Club at plus 110, draw plus 220, and Huesca at plus 300. Huesca frustrate everybody, but I don't see them getting anything out of this game.
You don't? I'm surprised.
I don't. Yeah,
I think
we'll go with Bilbao because I think Bilbao are flat track bullies. I think that they were them games that they should win. They believe they can win, and they'll go and create. Because Huesca, I think they'll almost defend deep, but then all of a sudden they'll come out. But when they come out, that's when Athletic Club will pounce.
I mean, it certainly could be because Athletic are in a better form than they were maybe a few weeks ago, a month ago or so. They were playing terrible, and suddenly they're getting there. They find they're in their form. They're becoming the Athletic we all know. Those very tough fighting team that goes right until the end. As you said, they have a lot of attitude, so they can get good results once they're a compact team. But it has to be said that against Real Madrid, they were playing down with one man basically the whole game, and they had a pretty good game. I think the scoreline maybe wasn't as fair as it should have been taken into account this situation. But overall, I mean, they could win against Huesca, although they won't have Raul Garcia, who got sent off in that game, obviously, early on, who's an important guy towards goal. Although this season he hasn't been as good. You can tell he's 30-something, 33 or 34, I think. He's getting older every year, and he's not playing the same level as he was. But on the other hand, I was really surprised with Huesca, because I honestly thought that they wouldn't get to win against Alaves. I thought that psychologically, after drawing against Granada, the last minute comeback they had would really affect them, but they got past that, they got their win, and who knows if now with that win maybe they can find a good run of results. I wouldn't discard Huesca completely for this game. I think a draw is also very likely, as we know, because Huesca tends to draw so many games, but careful with Huesca, it could go either way for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go either way when you've got the home side like Athletic Club plus 100, plus 110, Martin. And also, I always say that any time the draw is anywhere near plus 200, you've got to bring the draw into account. Now, I'm just happy to go with the flat track bullies.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned, like Román, just by the amount of draws that Huesca pick up. They didn't play in midweek. They had a friendly, but they didn't have a competitive game. So they could be a bit fresher for this one. Athletic Club were chasing shadows a bit against Real Madrid at times. If anything, I was hoping to give Huesca a +1 Asian handicap, because I think if they do lose, it'll only be by a single goal. But the odds weren't really there. It was only about 1.45 or something like that. So I just had to pass it in the end. Maybe Huesca draw no bet, but I still have a sneaking suspicion that Athletic Club could win this one by a narrow scoreline. So
yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy. As I said to you before, that you both think that this is tricky. I think we could look back on Monday and see 6 or 7 obvious results. So maybe I'm just not going to complicate this week. I'm just going to go and say, right, I'm on it. Now, Atletico at -400, draw plus 540, and Elche at plus 1800. Martin, you love Atletico. How have you found value? And have you found value?
I do love Atletico from a betting perspective. Don't really like Atletico from a viewing perspective. I think they're very effective at what they do, and have been for many years. So hats off to Simeone for what he's done there. But yeah, they're not the most eye-catching team, not the most aesthetically pleasing team to watch. But yeah, I haven't found value on this game. I really don't like the way the bookies have priced this up. I can't imagine many people wanting to bet on it, because yeah, Atletico could win, but it's rare that they win by huge score lines. There's no value on Atletico in under 4.5 goals. There's not really any value on Atletico in under 3.5 goals. I thought about Atletico to win to 0, and it was like 1.5, which is a bit too much to risk at those sort of odds. So if you really want to bet on it, I think you've got to go Atletico and under 2.5 goals, which makes me a little bit nervous. I think they'll probably win about 2-0, something like that. But sometimes they surprise us and come out and score a few, especially when they've got a point to prove after losing to Real Madrid last time out. And I was thinking maybe half-time, full-time, but Elche aren't losing that frequently at half-time. So I just don't really like the way the bookmakers have priced this one up. I'd be inclined to put Atletico Madrid in a parlay, maybe put a -1 Asian handicap in a parlay, but for a single bet, not really feeling it.
What about Elche +2? If you think that it could be a narrow win, because the other thing I think is Atletico, I'm a bit tongue-in-cheek here, but I think Atletico might be tired after playing with 10 men against Real Madrid for 72 minutes. They only started playing with 11 men when they took off their passenger, because he was an absolute joke, Roman.
I mean, I honestly disagree here. I think Atletico could get a few goals out of this game, basically because of what Almiron, Elche's manager, said in a recent press conference, which is they're going to save themselves for this game. He said that the crucial game is on Tuesday against Osasuna, which means that against Atletico, he's going to line up a weaker team, obviously. And of course, those guys are going to fight for it. They're going to try and get a good result. But maybe Atletico will be more comfortable than in another situation where Elche was really fighting for their lives or really trying to get results. So with that statement from the manager, I'm not so convinced it will be a short scoreline. We'll see what happens, but they have a good opportunity here. And also, we know that Atletico can score goals. They beat Granada 6-1. They beat Cadiz 4-0. So when they want, they have the firepower. And also, they're going to want to get past that Madrid defeat. You know, it was painful for them to lose, and they were going to want to open the gap as soon as possible once again. So this may be a good opportunity for that.
Suarez or Costa? Is Costa going to be back yet?
I don't think Costa's available for this one, but Suarez is there, of course, and he's got his days. He might have one of those days where he scores a hat-trick. So, I mean, he's always a player to keep in mind against weaker defensive sides, I'd say.
Yeah, because someone will just lay it on a plate for him. But, I mean, I was very, very disappointed. I was a bit smug, to be honest, watching him for 72 minutes, especially against Real Madrid. I mean, I thought I actually saw Ramos smoking a cigar during the game.
That's why we wanted to sell him from Barcelona, basically.
Yeah, what great business. What great business. Okay, let's move on then, because we're talking about Suarez and his old club was Barcelona. And I can't understand why or how they're struggling the way they are. Barcelona minus 300, draw plus 500, and Valencia at plus 900. Both teams to score, maybe, Martin?
Could well be. They're not keeping many clean sheets, are they, this season, Barcelona? They did well though. They did well to beat Real Sociedad in midweek, but it's an understrength Real Sociedad team, which is why I'm not betting on them this weekend either. When you take Oyarzabal and David Silva out of that side, they look a lot less dangerous for me. Yeah, it was good for them to get the win. But when you look at the central defensive pairing that they've got at the moment, Barcelona, it's inexperienced and doesn't give you a great deal of confidence. So, yeah, I could see Valencia getting on the score sheet in this one. Still fancy Barcelona to win it. It's not a great set of odds. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to put Atletico Madrid and Barcelona and someone else in a 3-team parlay and get over even money, I think I wouldn't dissuade you from doing that. But I did say I'm not betting on any Valencia games, and I can't change that mantra now. So I'm passing. No Valencia for me.
And this is like, I think there's a 4-team parlay to have: Atletico, Barcelona, Sevilla, and Madrid. But we'll obviously go through them games. Barcelona -1, maybe, Roman? Do they win this 3-1?
I mean, one of the problems Barca are having is scoring their shots on target. I mean, they're having good opportunities in most of the games, but they're not scoring as many as they should. So I'm not sure how many they'll be capable of scoring. I do think both teams to score makes sense for this one because, as you guys said, defensively both sides make a lot of mistakes. So I think there will be chances in attack. But I'm not really convinced about how many Barca can get. They did have a good game against Real Sociedad. They have that really, really good first half, especially where they generated a lot in attack. They were very fluid. The youngsters like Pedri, they dominated that midfield. But in the second half, Real Sociedad took control, and they were pretty dangerous for Barcelona. And there's where we struggled quite a lot in the counterattack. We weren't great, to be honest. So, as I was saying before, I think it's very important for Barca to get those shots on target into the goal. And one of the things that would change that is Messi coming in and scoring more goals as he used to. Of course, he's not having that facility or that ease maybe that he used to have, but he's still important. And hopefully this might be a game where that could happen. And also keep in mind that Barca probably will make rotations because, of course, they had that midweek game against Real Sociedad, and then they have another game during the next midweek. So keep that in mind also.
Okay, I'm just thinking, Barca man's even saying Barcelona team total over 2.5 at -105. Well, I'd be interested to know what Barca are at -1.5 on the Asian handicap or the European handicap, because if Barca score 3, then I think that they win by 2 clear goals. I think this is a 3-1, if not 4-1. Next game. Both teams to score, no. Is it definitely on the cards, Roman? This Osasuna at +270. I've seen them up close and personal. Let me down, but weak in attack. Draw +240. But Villarreal at +115. I see a away win. Don't complicate it. And I'm happy to say that this is my banker.
Yeah, I mean, logic tells you that you should go for Villarreal because, as a matter of fact, I was looking at the score lines from this season, and they actually haven't lost since they lost that 4-0 game against Barcelona right at the start of the season, the end of September. So, I mean, since then, they've got wins or draws. So that's a pretty good streak for Villarreal. It's true that lately they found a lot of draws. They want to win more games, and it's not happening for them. But seeing how Osasuna are lately, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to want to bet on Villarreal. Osasuna did almost surprise Valladolid in that game, which ended 3-2, but they couldn't because they're especially struggling in attack. And well, I'd also say defense, but in attack, they're struggling a lot, as we constantly say in the show. And as a matter of fact, one of their ex-players, Estupiñán, who's now for Villarreal, was so important for them in that sense because he provided so much through that fullback up that wing in attack. He crossed all those balls that Osasuna really made the most of. And now he's not there, although he won't be for Villarreal either because apparently he's also injured. And it's true that Villarreal have a lot of injuries for this game because also Paco Alcácer is still out, Baca is still out, and Vicente Iborra, he had a torn ligament in the previous game, so he's going to be out the whole season. So Villarreal are having some problems with injuries, but I still think they have enough quality and firepower to get past Osasuna.
Yeah, I mean, Osasuna, even though they went 2-1 up against Valladolid, it was a case of, obviously that was last Friday and it got us off to a great start. You knew that they were going to let in the goals. They scored their 2 goals from just under 15 defending from Valladolid. And we'll talk about Valladolid coming up in a while because I think that they might ship an absolute hatful. But Villarreal away from home at plus money against a side who struggled to score, Martin.
It really jumps out at you as an exciting bet. I just worry if it could be the trap of the weekend. They've only
one of the traps.
Yeah, exactly there.
Well, they've only won 1 out of 6 games on the road so far this season, and they've only scored 5 times in that period. And normally you'd expect Villarreal to be quite a high-scoring side, so they haven't been travelling well. And the injuries to Alcácer and his deputy Baca do kind of worry me a little bit. Obviously, we know Moreno's a very dangerous striker, but if you really mark him out of the game, I think that could leave Villarreal a little light in attack. I think this could be quite a low-scoring one. I'd be inclined to do Villarreal draw no bet, but I don't have the value there. Again, if I was looking at a parlay, Villarreal draw no bet. I'm just a bit worried about the draw in this one.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think the draw is definitely on the cards, but Villarreal for me, too much class, and they always look to go forward. I'm happy to go with any La Liga side who looks to go forward. Oh, you're not going to get them all right, but at least I know they're going to keep going and look for that goal. Levante at plus 275, draw plus 250, and Sociedad at plus 100. Now, I thought that this was the trap, Martin. The train's leaving the station. Are you on it?
No, I'm taking a bit of time off the Real Sociedad. I'm just sitting in the train station, feet up, reading the paper, waiting for Athabal and David Silva to come back into the team. As I say, they've been without Ian Merendi all season, who's the real anchor of that midfield. And then once you take out the star quality of those 2 players, they just look a little bit light on creativity and dynamism going forwards, and it does worry me a little bit. Their form recently has been poor. They've been drawing too many games, and obviously they couldn't get the better of Barcelona in the week. It's just the sheer amount of draws. Once again, I don't expect Levante to win this one, so I'd happily go Real Sociedad draw no bet. And I'd really like to see the lineup. If David Silva's in there pulling the strings, I don't know how bad his injury is. I've got to wait and see the team news on the day. But he seems like he was edging back towards fitness, but missed out last time, and still no Athabal. So yeah, it does make me a little bit nervous when Levante have been in pretty decent form in recent weeks too. So not going for it. Okay, Sociedad, are they gassed out or are they just getting draws against decent opposition, Roman?
Well, I think they're having a serious injury problem too. I mean, it's not just Oyarzabal and Silva. They've had a lot of players, and they still have a lot of players which are unavailable. They might be slightly gassed out. I guess it could be a possibility because they've been playing also a very intense rhythm. Their football is very forward-minded, so they're attacking, then they have to come back and defend, so it's very physical. But I just do think they should get the win here. It could be the trap, as Martin said, with Villarreal. I think this could be the trap, but I am betting for Real Sociedad because I do think they have to get the win against Levante. It's true that Silva and Oyarzabal are out. That's very disappointing because it seemed like Oyarzabal was about to be ready for this game, and then suddenly last minute they said that he won't be ready for this game, probably the next one. So that's very unfortunate. Now they also had that midweek game against Barcelona, which isn't ideal either, taking into account they'll be a bit more tired. But I really like the second half they played against Barcelona, despite being down. They came out and they tried to dominate the game. They got really close to scoring the equalizer, and I think they have much more quality at the moment than Levante, who don't have Campaña and Bardi. Campaña is a very important midfielder for them. He a few months ago went with the Spanish national side for the first time. I mean, he's really good and he's not there for them. So that's definitely a big setback in that position. And also there's a situation with Levante with the COVID. They found a case, I think it was today. So they're going to do further tests later on to see who it is. They still haven't revealed if it's an important player, if it's a substitute or whatever, but we have to keep that in mind that if one of their important players are out or they get more positives for the upcoming game, then they would seriously be weakened. So I just think that Real Sociedad overall have the stage is set better for them, I think, to get a win.
Maybe we need
I'm going to have to leave it alone, Martin, to be honest. I think you might be right to get off that train. I mean, listen, it was one of those, again, you look on Monday morning or Sunday night and you say, obvious, Sociedad away at Levante. It might be an in-play one. It might be a slow burner, but you can see that they will find their rhythm. So if they're starting off at plus 100, listen, if it's 0-0 after 25, 30 minutes, you're going to get decent plus money. So it might be just an in-play.
Yeah, maybe you could stay glued to the news, and if some news does emerge about an outbreak in the Levante squad of COVID, and then you can get in there before the bookmakers change their lines, you might get some really good value there. Have to be quick, but I don't know, maybe set up a Google alert or something about it, or follow something on Twitter. Follow La Liga Lowdown on Twitter.
Yeah, no doubt. So make sure you're on the ball, Roman or Ewan or Paco or any of the boys there at La Liga Lowdown.
Whatever, guys, yeah.
Get sniffing out, boys. Get sniffing out. We might be able to find some value before anybody else. Now, next game, I think someone's going to get absolutely thumped by this Sevilla side. And it's Sevilla at minus 195. The draw plus 300. Valladolid plus 700. Valladolid's defenders just don't defend. And I fancy they're going to get absolutely carved open. So do we go team total, Martin, over 1.5, maybe over 2.5, minus 1.5? I see Sevilla winning, and you can also stick them in that treble with the earlier ones of Atletico and Barcelona.
Yeah, I see Sevilla winning. I hope Valladolid don't get thumped, because I'm going for Sevilla to win and under 4.5 goals in this game, which is a pretty classic bet for me. It is strange the way Valladolid have been defending this season, because they were quite a stubborn, difficult team to break down last season. Didn't show a great deal of ambition going forward, and they were involved in a lot of low-scoring games. Seemingly flipped a switch this time around, and they've been picking up some pretty impressive wins. They beat Osasuna 3-2 last time out. I just think they're going to struggle to play that sort of football against Sevilla, the way they control the ball in midfield, the way they dictate the tempo of the game, and the amount of possession that I expect them to have. So I think it could be quite a dominant performance from Sevilla, but I just don't see them. I never really see them scoring too many goals. They're not the most clinical team going forward.
That's the only reason, though, because you see that, I mean, their build up and their creativity. Yeah. They have like 15 to 20 shots a game. And I mean, it was only 2 weeks ago, they did actually score 4. 2 of them were late on, granted.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy if they won 4-0. I'd be happy if they won 1-0. I just want them to win no more than 4.5 goals.
Okay, no worries. Roman, do you see Sevilla really putting the Valladolid defence under pressure early?
I mean, it's likely because I think, for example, in the last game, they got their goal way too late. So, I mean, the sooner they get the goal, the more they're relaxed they'll be on the pitch, and the more goals will come in for them, basically. So I think that's very important for them to try and find an early goal. You guys were talking about the defense. It's true that it's been much worse than last season. It has to be said they lost their best centre-back, Kiko Olivas, for basically the whole season. I think it is, with a long-term injury right before the season started. So they've actually been feeling that, And then also for this game, they have Joaquin, their main centre-back now, who is also injured. So another one's coming in. So that's Another maybe point in favor of Sevilla, where they can do a lot of damage in attack. But let's not forget that Sevilla's last game against Getafe, Sevilla had 0 shots on target. So that's actually pretty poor. It was a dull game for them. They really struggled towards goal. They did have, I think, 7 or 8 shots, but none of them were on target. So they're capable of better things. We know that. Sevilla, as you said, play really well. They're a great team, and they should get a win against Valladolid if nothing goes wrong. And let me just add that Rakitic and Navas are also doubtful for this game. 2 important players, but as we know that Sevilla still has a good team and can play and can really easily substitute players with other players and still play the same rhythm at the same level. So Sevilla favourites clearly.
Would you put them in a parlay with Barcelona and Atletico?
I guess you could, yeah. I think I would, yeah.
Okay, let's move on because I like this game. Celta at -130 seem to be improving, Roman. They seem to be getting their confidence levels up. There's good movement. There's more than one individual scoring. Draw +300 and Alaves at +400. Now, Alaves we like, but recent weeks, I know they got that freaky win away at Madrid, but they seem to be disjointed going forward. They're not creating obvious goal-scoring opportunities, so they're looking for a bit of magic. I think Celta at -130. Do not complicate it, just take it.
Yeah, I mean, Alaves did have a good streak and they were doing quite well in attack, but then suddenly, I don't know what's happened, that the last few games haven't been as great. They were quite disappointing last weekend, and I think against Celta they're going to struggle a lot because, as you guys have said, Celta are unstoppable at the moment. They look like they're a top team. They should be in the top 4 or 5 positions, how they're playing and the results they're getting lately. And it's not just in La Liga. They played the other day a Copa del Rey game. Of course, it was against a team which was, I think, a 3rd division or something like that, but still they won 5-0. I mean, all the results have been so impressive, and they've really gotten a big boost of confidence with their new manager, Coudet. So that's something that is going to continue, I think, for a while. And Alaves is a good side for Celta because they're not great defensively, and we know that Celta have a lot of attacking power, and Iago Aspas, he's just on fire at the moment. So keep Celta in mind for these next few weeks because they're doing really well at the moment.
Aspas, you like Martin. He's a busy bee. But the big thing about Aspas that I'm starting to enjoy is he's maturing into a team player. Whereas beforehand, if he didn't score, he didn't really contribute. Now he's contributing and not always scoring.
Yeah, he's a terrific player, very effective and growing increasingly unselfish in his old age. I think when he plays well, Celta Vigo play well. He's the man that makes them tick, and he's got them out of trouble so many times in recent years. They've been doing very well, and they absolutely thrashed Alaves 6-0 when they played in June. That was a bit of a surprise result because they were in woeful form at the time, but that should give them, I guess, a psychological advantage heading into this game. I looked at it for ages, trying to find value on it. I don't really like the idea of betting on Celta Vigo at odds of -130 when you just look at there's not a huge golfing quality between these teams.
Well, there's a difference at the moment with a team that scored 11 goals in the last 4 games and Alaves who can't score.
Yeah, but Alaves held Real Sociedad to a 0-0 draw. They beat Real Madrid 2-1, so they can score against Real Madrid. They can score against.
Yeah, but again, that masks because they were gifted them goals. They were given a penalty, and Courtois obviously gift wrapped and said, "Here you go." And so it was forced. I mean, the big one for me was an Alaves are at home. They're not creating opportunities. They maybe need 10 to score 1. I see Celta away and gone. Team total maybe over 1.5 or -1 Celta, Martin.
Well, yeah, I just couldn't find an angle really on it. I really was looking at. I almost went for both teams to score because I just think Celta Vigo still struggle at the back. But then I looked, and the last 4 games between these teams haven't seen both teams to score. It was 2-0 to Alaves at home last season, and then Celta thumped them 6-0 to gain revenge. So I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. I'd be leaning towards Celta naturally, but at -130, I'm not feeling it. But if you're betting on them, Flash, I'll be.
I'm on. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a look at this in play, and I may even go with Sean Max. Has just read my mind. Is Celta and over 1.5. Next game, there's not a lot of room on the naughty step, Martin, because we've got Granada at +165, draw +240, and Betis at 190. I cannot go near either of these sides because I just can't trust them.
No, Flash, I can't trust either of these sides either. But I absolutely love Granada in the opening weeks of the season and in the closing weeks of last season. It's been a tough campaign for them with the COVID outbreak, with the volume of games they've had to play. They obviously had their Europa League campaign. Now would have been a nice time for them to relax a bit and rest and prepare for these matches. But the games are coming in thick and fast still because it's the festive season, and we're having a truncated campaign this time around due to a delayed start. So there's no respite for them. They're coming up against a Real Betis team that have struggled a bit this season, but have picked up in recent weeks. Held Villarreal to a 1-1 draw.
Oh yeah, I mean, let's talk about that though, because Villarreal had to make 5 subs before the 58th minute, and 3 of their centre midfield boys all went off injured. It was so gutting for me because Villarreal absolutely tore them limb from limb for an hour, and then disjointed was an understatement, and they still maybe had chances to win it late on. So that's a false 1-1. Don't be giving Betis any credit at all, Martin.
I don't know, Flash. I don't know. I mean, I'm not giving Betis a great deal of credit because they can't defend. And Pellegrini's not a defensive-minded coach. He's not the sort of man who you bring in to instill discipline and organisation in your team. I think they'll continue to leak goals throughout the campaign. But they've got some dangerous forwards. When they turn it on, they can play some really good football. And the form that Granada have shown in recent weeks just makes me a little bit nervous right now betting on them. So, yeah, pass again, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, before I go to Rome, we've got 107 of you watching live, and we appreciate every single one of you. 48 of you have put the thumbs up. So if we can get that closer to 75, we may even get to 100 before we do the 2-team parlay. And again, remember last week, I'm going to give you the opportunity in the chat to give us your 2-team parlay. Granada and Betis, Roman, this is probably going to be very quick.
I mean, it's a game where, as you guys said, could go any way. I mean, it's very unpredictable at this stage. The fact is that Granada have better results against Betis. In the last 4 games, they've won 2 and drawn 2. So Betis haven't won yet against Granada. That's something to keep in mind. They struggle. And keep in mind also that Betis aren't doing really well. I see Granada slightly the favourites in this game, and I really think there could be goals. I would actually say both teams to score could make sense if there's value there, but it is tricky game, and I can understand why Martin wants to pass on it.
Okay, so we've got the 50 thumbs up. Let's see if we can march on towards the 100. If you haven't, obviously I understand that you're concentrating on what everyone's saying, but it's just a quick press the button. If I said to you, press the button, you get $50. You watch everyone go like that because you're greedy. Okay, Martin, what's going on? You wanted to say something about Granada and Betis?
Yeah, if you did want to go both teams to score in that game, it is priced at 1.8, which is -125 in American odds. And that's a pretty good set of odds. As I said, Betis are really struggling at the back, but they do look pretty good going forward. So, yeah, if I was going to go for anything on this game, I think that's a pretty good angle.
Okay, let's go down to the south, Andalusia, which is Cadiz at +250, draw +195, and Getafe at 150. Roman, Cadiz, we know all about them now. There's no surprises. They lock up shop and they make it tough for anybody.
I mean, if we're staying away from the previous game, I'm running away from this one because honestly, I do not know what's going to happen at all. Both sides are surprising me. I mean, Cadiz got that amazing win we all know against Barcelona, looked so great, and then suddenly they get thrashed by Celta. So it comes to prove that sometimes one team motivates you so much more than another, I guess. But of course, Cadiz are going to want to come back and find their form again at home, and are going to be quite tightly closed in defense, as you said. But at the same time, on the other side, you have Getafe, which are also a team that are looking so bad lately. And in the Copa del Rey, they just got a 94th minute win the other day by 2-1 against Osasuna, which is a third division team. They really struggled against them. So I just can't imagine how much they may struggle against Cadiz, So also they've dropped so many positions. They're on the edge of relegation. Getafe, they're not looking good. And after how Celta thrashed Cadiz, I just can't trust either team. So for me, I'm running away from this.
Sometimes you just got to look at the numbers, Roman, and it's plus 195. I think it's edging towards plus 190 on the draw. So, I mean, that tells me straight away, maybe both teams to score. No, under 2.5 goals. If you're brave, go under 2 goals. And if there is 2 goals, it's a push. You get your money back. Martin, I don't see a goal fest here.
No, I don't see a goal fest, Flash, but under 2.5 goals is priced at like 1.3 or something.
That's crazy, yeah?
No one's expecting a goal fest in this game. This is going to be a dull affair, unfortunately. Yeah, I echo everything that Román said. How can you bet on a team that beats Barcelona and then loses 4-0 to Celta in their next match? That's chaos.
I think it's a case of if they get behind, it's almost like a horse. If he's at the front or he's in the race, he's interested. But as soon as horses go by him, he just chucks the towel. Because if Cadiz go 1 or 2 down, they know they're not going to score 3. So all of a sudden, it's a write-off.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point. I kind of think, like Román said, it's just a question of motivation levels. They got really fired up for the game against Barcelona, just come up from from Segunda Division, and it's a huge glamour clash against Barcelona. Expend a lot of energy in beating them, and then bit of a come down to play Celta and get absolutely thrashed. The motivation now is going to be to make amends for that defeat and bounce back and show some form, but you're coming up against Getafe, who on paper look like a better team. They're very strong past couple of seasons, and it's all falling apart for them. There's no shame in losing 1-0 to Sevilla last time out, even though Sevilla did dominate that game. But some of the results they've had recently are very, very poor. And yeah, it looks like they could be in a bit of trouble, but I still think they're good enough to finish mid-table. And for that reason, stay away from this one, guys.
Okay, both teams to score no looks an obvious one there, and also the draw at the half-time, and maybe even draw after 75 minutes. Eibar is our last game at plus 600, draw plus 330, and maybe the fourth leg of your parlay. Madrid at minus 165 is going to be a lot of people happy going on Madrid and sticking them with Atletico, Barcelona, and Sevilla. Martin?
I think so. Yeah, you've got to go for Real Madrid. They have had a few dodgy results this season, Flash, and they've busted a few coupons of parlays over the course of the campaign. But you've got to go with them, haven't you? They're in terrific form. They won in midweek. As I said, in their previous games, they won a huge, important Champions League clash against Mönchengladbach, and they beat Sevilla and Atletico Madrid, which is 2 of their biggest title rivals. So they're going to be full of confidence right now. Defence looks a lot tighter since Ramos came back. Like you said, Cruz is pulling the strings in midfield. Luka Modric, despite his age, remains a quality player, and they've got youth. They've got youth and pace in the wings anyway, so it doesn't really matter. They've got a really nice balance in their side. Eibar are in very good form. It's not going to be an easy game for Real Madrid, but I think they're going to go and win this one. One thing to bear in mind is that Eibar games are the lowest scoring games in the league this season. They're 1.46 goals per match, which is, they're involved in some pretty dull, tight, tense clashes. Not really one for the neutrals. Real Madrid, yeah, they keep things reasonably tight on the road. They're not too expressive. I think Benzema can get on the score sheet. I think they'll win this one. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring match. Real Madrid and under 4.5 goals looks pretty sensible to me.
Yeah, I'd say the other one, I think you might get good value, is probably Madrid to win to 0. Roman?
Well, you might find value there because it's true that Eibar aren't a team. We're known for scoring goals, at least this season. So Real Madrid definitely have the edge on that. But I'm slightly worried on what Real Madrid we're going to see, because Martin was talking about them. But of course, you said Atletico Madrid, you said Sevilla, you said Mönchengladbach. These are the big teams. And we were saying previously that against the big teams, we've seen the best Real Madrid. But against the weaker teams, we've seen the worst Real Madrid. So I'm a bit worried what version we're going to see. Because as I said before, against Athletic Club, they were playing against 10 men. They weren't great. They should have dominated that even more, in my opinion. And Eibar, as you said, are in a good role. They're a dangerous side. And also, I think that either Kroos or Modric are going to rest for this one, because they've played the full 90 minutes. I think it's in the last 4 or 5 games. So it's more likely that one of them, or both, who knows, get a rest in the bench. So I do think, honestly, that Real Madrid will win and should win, but slightly careful with Eibar, because they're a tricky side. And last match day, we said it against Real Sociedad, careful with Eibar. It might surprise them. They got the draw in the end. So keep an eye out for Eibar, but Real Madrid, is true, they should take the win, and they should have no problem if they play the same level as they're playing against the bigger sides.
Well, I'm on Real Madrid on my futures, so I'm cheering them on every single week. Just a quick one for Martin, just a bit off-piste. Hull to beat Pompey. I've gone with Hull to win League One, so I'm hoping that they win. And I hope they win to 0 as well. Okay. Remember, in the chat, you're our third guest. I want the 2-team parlay. Start putting your teams forward. Let's have a look at the picks, please, Fab. Wow, it looks like I'm visiting a house where people are ready to move and there's not much furniture. Okay, Martin, Sevilla and to win and under 4.5 at -150. Real Madrid and under 2 Martin Classics. Real Madrid to win and under 4.5 at -114. Roman's picks, Villarreal +115. Real Sociedad to win at +115. And Barca, both teams to score at -130. I've gone Athletic Club at +100. My banker is Villarreal at +115 and Celta at -130. I think I'm so tempted to go with Sevilla -1.5 on the Asian handicap. And that is, I think, around +100. But again, if you follow me on Twitter, then I will be doing some live in play. Now, 2-team parlay. First of all, Martin, who do you want to put forward?
I'll put forward Sevilla to beat Valladolid.
Just straight at 195?
Are we just doing a 2-team parlay?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Or 2-bet parlay. I mean, it can be anything. It could be Sevilla and over 1.5. It could be Sevilla and under 4.5. Whatever you want.
I'll just put Sevilla. If I was doing a parlay, I would do Sevilla to win, Real Madrid to win, Atletico Madrid to win. It was a 3-team.
There's 2 teams, and you've mentioned 3, so only 2 from 3, yeah.
Yeah, but of the 3, I would go for Sevilla as my favourite.
Excellent. What about you, Roman?
If we can put the Atletico game, I think that would be quite reliable.
Well, Atletico, win to 0?
No, maybe not. I'd go. Sorry?
Elche score?
Probably not.
So do you think we're going to get better odds? Because it's -400 at the minute.
It's only -200 for win to 0, though. So.
Okay. Either that or Villarreal then in the other case, because you've also got it. So I think they should get this.
Okay. Sevilla to win at -195 and Villarreal to win at +115. That's our 2-team parlay. Now, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we can notify you. You'll never miss any content again. And with Christmas coming up, we're going to be doing shows ready for Boxing Day and getting ourselves ready for the new year. Also, press the link in the description. That will take you over to the articles wrote by either Martin, Tan or Alex. They do parlays. They put more meat on the bone for singles. And also, I need to get you to press the thumbs up on the way out. 62 have pressed the thumb to go blue, and 102 of you are watching. So 40% of you are not even bothering. Also, just a quick one, 68% of you who watch these videos subscribe. That means 32 of you don't. Please subscribe. It helps me when I go in and fight my corner to continue with these soccer videos. Okay, so have a great weekend, everyone. Remember, on Monday, we have Serie A and La Liga shows. Hopefully, we're all talking about the 2-team parlay coming and plenty winners. Roman, have a great weekend, mate.
You
Good
too.
luck to your
Enjoy
Barcelona. Martin, we'll see you again on Monday. We don't know whether it's going to be Paco, Roman, or Ewan yet. It's in my desk, but I don't look at Monday until this afternoon. So you all take care. Have a great weekend, and may all your bets be winners. Ciao.